And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And today I wanted to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is improv. And improv comedy is fun. It's fun to watch, it's fun to be in. I love improv. Okay. For those of you who've never seen improv, something like Whose Line Is It Anyway, which does short form games, or something that does longer form improv, where the idea is that you have scenes, sometimes entire plays, that are completely made up on the spot, right? And it could be a whole lot of fun to watch and to be in. And it's that last part, to be in, that I want to talk about, because one of the things I recommend to just about anybody is to take an improv class. Okay. Doesn't matter what you're doing, what you want to use it for, just for fun. Okay. Take an improv class, because you will gain some skills through an improv class that I think, one, translate to life in general really, really well. And it's, it's really cool. So, one of the most obvious ones, and this is one I hear about from management coaches, right? They'll talk about taking improv classes because improv teaches listening skills. Okay. One of the problems we have with communication is that you get two people talking, and more often than not, one of those people, at least one, and possibly both, is just waiting for the other person to stop talking so they can say their bit. They're not paying attention to what the other person is saying. They're just waiting for the pause in the conversation so they can say what they want to say. Improv doesn't let you do that. I mean, you can, it just doesn't work well. See, the idea behind improv is that you build off what the other person or the other people are doing, right? They're making offers, right? They'll say something along the lines of, hey, I'm a 19th century priest. Okay, they don't say it that way, but that's how they present themselves, right? They'll make comments that indicate, yes, they are a 19th century priest, and you just go with it. And so you build off of it. In improv land, they call that yes-anding. Well, in real life, we deal with this type of stuff all the time. Somebody says something, we have to react to it. If we take that same approach of actually listening to what's being said and then reacting to what's being said, rather than just waiting for them to shut up so we can say our piece, we can communicate better. And that's one of those things that it gets drilled into you in improv, because that's what makes improv work, is that yes-anding, the building off of what the other person is saying. Okay. This also leads into basic social skills, because one of the problems people have, and trust me, I'm one of them as an introvert with social problems, is that it's hard. You don't trust yourself. Okay. There tends to be, well, there are a number of reasons, fear and a lack of confidence and whatever. But when you're taking an improv class, one of the things you learn is to trust your first response. Is that the idea is that somebody makes an offer and you have to respond to it just like that. Okay. You just need to snap to it and go. And that translates to real life too. In that, when somebody is talking to you, when you're having those conversations, that you start building that trust in your own responses, and the ability to sort some of those responses, like, maybe that was not appropriate, let's go with option 2. But to do that quickly and really work with the person you're talking to, right? These are amazing, right? Just for, hey, I need to talk to somebody. I need to call somebody, right? These are all skills that you are going to need in real life, right? Improv also pushes you out of your comfort zone, right? Because getting up and acting like, well, anything that comes up in improv is not necessarily comfortable. But when you're in rehearsals with the troupe, it's one of the more supportive places I've been. Okay. Now, so let me back up a little bit, because about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, I took an improv class, and it was one of those things like I'd signed up for it. It's like, okay, yes, I'm going to do this partly because I wanted to widen my toolbox for streams. Okay. But my dad died just before, he died in October. The class was going to start in January. And of course, I was devastated because my dad and I were really close. But I decided to take the improv class anyway. And it was weird because here I am. I'm a dude in my mid-40s, okay? Heck, my daughter took the class with me. She's going into theater. She said, "Oh, I'll take an improv class. It'll be fun." Didn't expect to be in it with each other, And almost everyone else in the class is in the same boat. Okay, yeah, my daughter was a little bit younger than I think she was the youngest person in the class. But I think everybody in the class was younger than my oldest daughter. And I'm not sure I was older than the professor, but it's a near thing. So we were, and there was a little, I want to say discomfort, I think, by some of the students. What's this old man doing here? But we got through that really fast, and we were able to work well together. Didn't matter who we were, the different ages, different genders, different anything. We were able to all work together, and that becomes a very comforting and a very safe space. And when I continued doing improv after, I'd go to their open rehearsals, was in a couple of the shows of the local improv troupe, right? It gave a safe space to be that sort of weird, silly, just crazy person you can be, or even just that normal person you can be, in a very comforting space. So you can get out of that comfort zone and you can be I don't know, anything, right? You can be the weird henchman trying to launch elephants into space, and it's okay. Similar, in some ways, it's very similar to playing Dungeons and Dragons or any other role-playing game, because, hey, it's the same skills, okay? You don't have to roll dice. You just make things up on the spot, and it's great. And going through all of this helps build confidence, right? Because, hey, if you're actually passionate and energetic and actively part of your scenes, it's easy to build confidence, because you go through the scene, and by this time the scene's done, you're looking at each other like, that was awesome, let's do this again, because man, that was amazing. And that happens a lot, and you start building up that confidence, and it is so good. It's so good. And now, let me tell you, you don't have to be funny, okay? Improv is not about telling jokes, right? This isn't stand-up, right? You don't have to be the person who's always there cracking jokes. In fact, cracking jokes can actually be a problem in an improv scene. Improv tends to be funny just because the situations get weird in a hurry, okay? So you don't have to be that person who is trying to crack the jokes. Like I said, if you ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway, which isn't the best example of improv, but it's a very popular one. a lot of those, you watch a lot of those skits, and very rarely are they saying one thing in particular that, oh, this is a joke, right? It's just they start building off and building off each other and building off each other, and zaniness ensues. Okay. It is really, really fun. So don't worry about, hey, I'm not the funny one in the group. You don't have to be. Just go in and enjoy, building off of what's happening, right? I mean, we did one scene in a show where it was like a brother and sister, and he was back from college, she was in high school, and his career as a clown wasn't happening. But he got hired into NASA. And it ended up snowballing into this high school student was in a journalism class and she was supposed to go there to do interview her brother for his experience in the circus, and it turned into an investigation of why is this section of NASA doing animal experiments and launching them into space as the rocket. Okay, it just got weird, right? And it's just those little things that ended up building and building and building and making it funny. Okay. One of the other things that is so essential that in order to really learn to do improv well, and that helps benefit your regular life, is humility, right? Humility, or being humble, sort of the opposite of having pride, right? Pride leads to a fear of failure, right? Because if you're proud, anything that seems like a failure is damaging to your pride, right? And so that leads to fear, right? Sometimes you think, I can't do this because somebody will think less of me. That's pride talking, okay? Humility allows you to be comfortable with your mistakes, right? Humility says that you don't have to be the center of attention, right? Someone who's prideful, right? You see those people, it's like the world revolves around them, at least in their own minds, right? Pride doesn't allow you to sort of be off to the side. And with improv, sometimes you are the center of attention. Sometimes you're not. And learning to embrace that side of yourself, that, hey, I'm not the star of this scene. And that's awesome. Can I help them be the funniest person or make the scene the best that it can be, even though I'm just on the side? Right? That is amazing. That is all sorts of fun. And it helps so much because sometimes you will be the center of attention, and the other players in the troupe are helping you to shine. And when everybody has that humility, that supportiveness, it leads to a better show. But think of what happens in real life. Sometimes you're the star, sometimes you're not. But if you are helping other people to succeed and they are helping you to succeed, what ends up happening? What ends up happening is everybody succeeds. Maybe not in the way they were expecting, or maybe even hoping, but everybody succeeds. It's the rising tide lifts all boats, right? But if we're helping each other to succeed rather than tearing each other down, this is a huge win for society in general, but any group you're with, whether it's your group of coworkers, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, when everyone is humble, and humble enough that they don't tear others down to keep them from succeeding, they help each other to succeed. That is a huge, huge win. This is a whole list of things that improv as a practice, right, will help you with your life. But one last reason I think to really encourage them to take an improv class is it's fun, right? I don't know that I've laughed as hard as I have in some of my improv rehearsals. And I've come off the stage after a show and we're just looking at each other like, how did that happen? And that was amazing. And I want to do this again and again and again because this rocked. Okay. We've had scenes like that in rehearsals. We've had scenes like that in shows. Man, it is great. It is so much fun. And I said, you don't have to be a trained actor. I'm certainly not. My acting ability is pretty well limited to, I took one speech and drama class in high school. Okay, and that was it. Right? I'm not a theater kid. Never have been. Now, looking back at some of the things I really enjoy, I kind of wish I'd gotten into it sooner. But the reality is, I'm not a theater guy. I'm a math guy. Right? And that doesn't matter. You just go with what comes and you pay attention to what the other people around you are doing and you build off of it. And it's amazing what comes out of it. Sometimes things are very profound. Some things are just ridiculously silly. But it is so much fun. So much fun. So I encourage everybody, find an improv class. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say it's necessarily cheap to do so, right? And I understand, everyone has their own financial issues and such, but if you can, take an improv class and learn those skills, learn those listening skills, learn those social skills. Learn to step out of your comfort zone and realize your comfort zone might be bigger than you thought it was. Gain that confidence. The confidence that comes through success in a scene. Just interacting with people, realizing that, hey, this is good. I can work with people and it can be fun. Work on that humility, that selflessness that allows you to not be the center of attention at all times, but also be accepting of those moments when you are the center of attention, which, to be honest, is sometimes harder, right? For those of us with social anxieties or who are introverts, being the center of attention can be hard, but going through improv and these improv rehearsals helps you build that sometimes you are going to be the center of attention, and that is great. And sometimes you're not, and that is great. Okay? And that idea that we can be funnier together. We can succeed better together than we can apart. Right? Which is a huge lesson that we can learn for everyday life. All of those are amazing for everyday life. And really, what do you do when you talk to somebody? You improv, right? We're making it up as we go. We don't have a script. I recommend it so much. I cannot recommend it enough. So, and I've talked about it before on stream, but if you can, sit down, find a class, and really be present and part of it. And I think all of you, ultimately, I think will find success with, even if you don't go and do improv ever again, just those 6 weeks, 12 weeks, however long the improv class goes for. I took mine at a university, so it was a semester. But it is so beneficial, and I recommend it a lot. And I'm rambling about how much I recommend it because I do. It is so good. So until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Static signing off.